ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। ॐ श्रीमद्भगवद्गीता पञ्चदशोऽध्यायः श्रीपुरुषोत्तमयोगः। श्रीभगवानुवाच ऊर्ध्वमूलमधः शाखम् अश्वत्थं प्राहुरव्ययम् छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्तं वेद स वेदवित् अधर्षोर्ध्वं प्रसृतास्तस्य शाखा गुणप्रवृद्धा विषयप्रवालाः अधश्च मूलान्यनुसन्ततानि कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके न रूपमस्येह तथोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादिर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा ततः पदं तत्परिमार्गितव्यं यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूयः तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसृता पुराणी निर्मानमोहाजितसङ्गदोषा अध्यात्मनित्या विनिवृत्तकामाः द्वन्द्वैर्विमुक्ता सुखदुःखसंज्ञैर्गच्छन्त्य मूढा पदमव्ययं तत् न तद्भासयते सूर्यो न शशाङ्को न पावकः यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम ममैवांशो जीवलोके जीवभूतः सनातनः मनःषष्ठानीन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति शरीरं यदवाप्नोति यच्चाप्युत्क्रामतीश्वरः गृहीत्वैतानि संयान्ति वायुर्गन्धानि वाशयात् श्रोत्रं चक्षुस्पर्शनं च रसनं घ्राणमेव च अधिष्ठाय मनश्चायं विषयानुपसेवते उत्क्रामन्तं स्थितं वापि भुञ्जानं वा गुणान्वितं विमूढानानुपश्यन्ति पश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषः यतन्तो योगिनश्चैनं पश्यन्त्यात्मन्यवस्थितम् यतन्तोऽप्यकृतात्मानो नैनं पश्यन्त्यचेतसः यदादित्यगतं तेजो जगद्भासयतेऽखिलम् यच्चन्द्रमसि यच्चाग्नौ तत्तेजो विद्धि मामकम् गामाविश्य च भूतानि धारयाम्यहमोजसा पुष्णामि चौषधी सर्वाः सोमो भूत्वा रसात्मकः अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रितः प्राणापानसमायुक्तः पचाम्यन्नं चतुर्विधम् सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो मत्तः स्मृतिर्ज्ञानमपोहनं च वेदैश्च सर्वैरहमेव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृद्वेदविदेव चाहम् ॐ तत्सत् सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु So we were looking at the I think we had started verse 12, right? Um, or we were in the Aparuksha Jnana, right? I think that was the last thing which I will just read the 11th verse which we did yesterday. यतन्तो योगिनः शयनं पश्यन्त्यात्मन्यवस्थितं यतन्तोऽप्यकृतात्मानो नैनं पश्यन्त्यचेतसः and the yogis who are making effort see this self obtaining in the buddhi and those whose minds are not mature and who do not have viveka do not see this Atma even if they are making effort. So we had seen about the Atmanishta and those who are Uttamadhikaris, they get it even without any effort. They understand immediately. So that was the last thing. And as we had decided, I will read once again. Those who lack maturity do not see in spite of effort. Mere effort is not enough, however. A certain type of mind is required for those efforts to be meaningful. Though one may make all the prescribed efforts, one has to gather the capacity to inquire properly. That itself is a discipline. Further, one must have withdrawn from a life of improper activities by a life of discipline, gaining a mastery over the senses, the other organs, and the mind. One's pursuit is not hindered by these. Bhagavan says, even though they make effort, they do not see. Why? Because they are akritatmanah, not gain proper antakarana shuddhi through the life of karma yoga and are achetasaha, lacking in viveka. The word achetasaha literally means those who do not have a chetas, mind. But there cannot be anyone who does not have a mind. Therefore, Shankara glosses this word as avivekinaha, those lacking in viveka, discrimination. So, Bhagwan says, those who are akritatmanaha and achetasaha or avivekinaha, because their antakarana is not purified through a life of karma yoga, they do not, in spite of their efforts, they do not see that oneness. Some Vedanta works in some cases and not in others. We have to understand that something more than pramana is required, a prerequisite. As in seeing, mere eyes are not enough, but eyes that are free from defects are required. Then the eyes are a pramana. Since there is only one Atma, there is no possibility of Atma being different in the vision of Vedanta. If Vedanta is a means of knowledge, whoever listens should see the same Sat Chit Ananda Atma. But it does not happen that way. Therefore, if one person sees this and other does not, and if Vedanta is looked upon as a pramana, then the problem lies with the one who wants to understand. If Vedanta is not looked upon as a pramana, it becomes a mystical experience. Once it is a pramana, Vedanta should reveal the nature of the immediately available Atma, because the samsara that this knowledge is supposed to resolve is also immediately available aparoksha. If I have committed a mistake that is aparoksha, the correction of that mistake must also be aparoksha.
Can you repeat the last two sentences, Bila?
Yeah. Once it is a... Okay, I will just see a previous line. If Vedanta is a means of knowledge, whoever listens should see the same Satchidanandatma. But it does not happen that way. Therefore, if one person sees this and another does not, and if Vedanta is looked upon as a pramana, then the problem lies with the one who wants to understand. If Vedanta is not looked upon as a pramana, it becomes a mystical experience. Once it is a pramana, Vedanta should reveal the nature of the immediately available Atma, because the samsara that this knowledge is supposed to resolve is also immediately available aparoksha. If I have committed a mistake that is aparoksha, the correction of that mistake must also be aparoksha. So I think it is that fundamental mistake which we are making, which Swamiji had said in the previous chapters. So can someone guide further? I'm not able to explain. It is very, very profound statement. If one is able to see and another is not able to see the same Satchidanandatma, should I read further or someone can?
Yeah, I think you can read further. I'm only trying to understand the sentence that pramana will only become a mystical experience.
If one understands and one doesn't, if one gets immediate knowledge, like those who are Uttamadhikaris,
Yeah,
and one doesn't, another does not.
Means
And if
listening and seeing both the faculties, means whatever you pursue, it should be the same what you are seeing or listening.
hmm,
Means whatever what you are,
it
it's
has to be
Satchitananda.
like the
Yeah.
example, the eyes, when they see, the eyes become a pramana if they are free from defects.
hmm,
Similarly, our understanding of the Shastra should be free from any defect. Then it becomes uh, true to its word, like a pramana. Otherwise, it only becomes a mystical experience.
hmm,
Jai Gurudev, I think until unless the mind is not prepared by that antakarna shuddhi, then you cannot perceive the knowledge. So I think this is what Swamiji wants to say, that even though you can, it is a means of knowledge. Whoever listens should see the same Satchitanand Atma. But it does not happen that way. Like uh, if a person is knowledgeable, he has a good intellect and mind, he can study that literature or whatever. But if uh, reading these shastra, these Vedanta, you have to have a preparedness of mind. Like what uh, we were in the initially, what we were like. Many people, they say that we try to study but we don't follow. So that antakarna shuddhi doesn't happen. Until then, you cannot perceive the knowledge what Vedant Shastra wants to convey. I uh, I just like, it was my opinion, because it is already laid in the knowledge is laid in the Shastra, but it is only that the perception is different for different type of people. One, they'll just read and they would not go into the depth of, or would not be able to figure out what it wants to convey.
hmm.
That is why
To
that
me,
eyes example is there, no, that the are eyes function is to see, but until unless the defects, it is free of defects. So what is that free of defect means? It is, I think, that clarity of vision, if it is there, then only then I can see. Sometimes you, what you see is not always the truth also, no? So yeah.
yeah, Sarlaji
Yes,
says
I also
knowing and
totally agree.
experience should be the same. Hmm. Okay, I think
Yeah.
as we
I
read
think if you
further,
read further, we'll
yes,
understand. Yeah.
yes. Atma cannot be known by perception or inference because being yourself, it cannot be objectified. The only pramana that will work is Shabda. Here the statements like Tat Tvam Asi are Lakshana Vakyas and they produce immediate knowledge. They are similar to the statements such as this is that Devadatta or you are the 10th man, which produce immediate knowledge or paroksha jnana. If that recognition is not immediate, and if you do not understand that Vedanta is a pramana, you will conclude that Atma has to be experienced. This is very profound statement. I repeat this paragraph. Atma cannot be known by perception or inference because being yourself, it cannot be objectified. The only pramana that will work is Shabda. Here the statements like Tat, Tvam, Asi are Lakshana Vakyas and they produce immediate knowledge. They are similar to the statements such as this is that Devdatta or you are the 10th man, which produce immediate knowledge or paroksha jnana. If that recognition is not immediate, and if you do not understand that Vedanta is a pramana, you will conclude that Atma has to be experienced. Those who know the Shastra say that Vedanta is a pramana, but very few know how to handle it. As a result, there is a tendency to conclude that one has to experience something and that Vedanta is the theory which is the basis for that experience. Then Vedanta ceases to be a pramana as far as Atma is concerned. If Vedanta does not give you immediate knowledge of the self-evident Atma, which is always available and which is the basis for every experience, then Vedanta is not a pramana for Atma. So beautifully explained. Since some people gain the knowledge and others do not, in spite of being exposed to the pramana, that is Vedanta, it is clear that some other factor is necessary. Instead of taking into consideration the qualifications of the student, the idea of experience was conceived of by some people. I think here there must be a full stop. I read once again this. Since some people gain the knowledge and others do not, in spite of being exposed to the pramana that is Vedanta, it is clear that some other factor is necessary. Instead of taking into consideration the qualifications of the student, the idea of experience was conceived of by some people. This problem is compounded by the use of the word anubhava in the Shastra, typically translated as experience. This word, however, is used by the Shastra in the sense of seeing, darshana, indicating immediate knowledge. The problem of anubhava arose long ago when it was suggested that the study of Shastra had to be followed by a special otherworldly cognition, laukika pratyaksha. But this was much more well thought out than the modern contention that first you must get the theory of Atma from the Shastra and then through practice experience it. This problem of not seeing the nature of Atma can either lead you to the conclusion that Atma is yet to be experienced or that you should look into your qualifications. Since moksha is in the form of knowledge, there are definitely requirements for it. Fulfilling those requirements is the nature of the effort that is made here. The emphasis is on purity of mind, antahkarana shuddhi, which is accomplished by a life of karma yoga and the cultivation of values. The most important thing here is inquiry. All false values and improper attitudes are due to a lack of understanding of certain relative truths. It is therefore important to continue to listen to the Shastra while living a life of Karma Yoga. I think it is getting clearer, right? So it is an immediate knowledge. And when you want to see it as at an experiential level, which only through, I think, if there is pure antakarana, then that knowledge is immediate, aparoksha. Someone can, Brahmaraji can explain. And beautiful example of that 10th man. We are that. We forget to include our own self, which is nothing but the whole creation.
Can you read it again?
Yeah, okay. From here, Atma cannot be known.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Atma cannot be known by perception or inference because being yourself, it cannot be objectified. The only pramana that will work is Shabda. Here the statements like Tattvamasi are Lakshana Vakyas and they produce immediate knowledge. They are similar to the statements such as this is that Devadatta or you are the 10th man, which produce immediate knowledge, aparoksha jnana. If that recognition is not immediate, and if you do not understand that Vedanta is a pramana, you will conclude that Atma has to be experienced. Those who know the Shastra say that Vedanta is a pramana, but very few know how to handle it. As a result, there is a tendency to conclude that one has to experience something and that Vedanta is the theory which is the basis for that experience. Then Vedanta ceases to be a pramana as far as Atma is concerned. If Vedanta does not give you immediate knowledge of the self-evident Atma, which is always available and which is the basis for every experience, then Vedanta is not a pramana for Atma. Since some people gain the knowledge and others do not, in spite of being exposed to the pramana that is Vedanta, it is clear that some other factor is necessary. Instead of taking into consideration the qualifications of the student, the idea of experience was conceived of by some people. This problem is compounded by the use of the word anubhava in the Shastra, typically translated as experience. This word, however, is used by the Shastra in the sense of seeing, darshana, indicating immediate knowledge. The problem of Anubhava arose long ago when it was suggested that the study of Shastra had to be followed by a special other-worldly cognition, Laukika Pratyaksha. But this was much more well thought out than the modern contention that first you must get the theory of Atma from the Shastra and then through practice experience it. This problem of not seeing the nature of Atma can either lead you to the conclusion that Atma is yet to be experienced or that you should look into your qualifications. Since moksha is in the form of knowledge, there are definitely requirements for it. Fulfilling those requirements is the nature of the effort that is made here. So it means everybody is adhikari, everybody can get this immediate knowledge. It is not like other worldly cognition, laukika pratyaksha. I read further. This problem of not seeing the nature of Atma can either lead you to the conclusion that Atma is yet to be experienced, or that you should look into your qualifications. Since moksha is in the form of knowledge, there are definitely requirements for it. Fulfilling those requirements is the nature of the effort that is made here. The emphasis is on purity of mind, antakarana shuddhi, which is accomplished by a life of karma yoga and the cultivation of values. The most important thing here is inquiry. All false values and improper attitudes are due to a lack of understanding of certain relative truths. It is therefore important to continue to listen to the Shastra while living a life of Karma Yoga. Yogis who are referred to here then can be either those who are contemplating or those who are living a life of Karma Yoga. Whatever is required, Karma Yoga or a simple life of contemplation, they do that. They will certainly see. So here about that. Those yogis, through their jnana chakshus, they will certainly see. You can share your understanding.
Yeah, Jai Gurudev. I think what Swamiji is explaining here is that it is a wrong notion to think that Atma has to be experienced. Like in the example of the 10th man, Devadatta does not experience himself. He knows that he is the 10th man. That is that immediate knowledge. Similarly, since we are Atma, you do not need to experience it. It is not like an object. It is you. It is me. So it is wrong to understand that the Shastra is like the theory, and then we have to practice it in order to experience Atma. Shabda Pramana is there. All these Mahavakyas, Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, they are there. We need to study them, yes. But alongside that, because that alone is not enough. Otherwise, just everybody reading the Shastra should become enlightened. That doesn't happen. Because then, why? Because moksha is nothing but knowledge, there needs to be preparation for that. And that preparation is this preparing the mind, is living the life of a karma yogi, alongside which you study the Shastra. So it is immediate knowledge, it is not an experience. So this, I think, has to be clear in our mind.
Correct.
Because it's not like when you're in meditation, you feel blissful, and like yesterday, day before, we were discussing that when you do Sudarshan Kriya, you get a glimpse of Atma. It is beyond that. It is not that. It is not an experience. It is immediate recognition. And once Devadatta recognizes he is the 10th man, there is no way he will go back to the ignorant state that he was not the 10th man. So once one
Yeah.
recognizes Atma, yat gatva nani vartante, he will not return back from that state of moksha.
Brahmaraji, can you
Yeah.
explain that Devadatta's? I did not really understand that.
No, I
Or
think
if you,
it's a group of 10 disciples. Everyone
hmm,
is counting. He's counting everybody else, but
hmm,
he's counting only 9. And he
hmm,
says, alas, and he's wailing. He's saying, oh, the 10th man is lost. We are
yes,
only
that,
9. The 10th man is not there.
hmm,
So then the teacher comes and tells him, Array, you are the 10th man. Then he realizes. So
hmm,
till such time, you do not know that you are the 10th man. You will continue to wail. You continue to be in the samsara. You continue to, you're moving around there thinking that you are not there. You are insecure. That is what the fundamental problem is, that you think that you are insecure when you actually, the truth is, you are secure. You are Satchidananda. The problem is we do not realize that, recognize that, and then because of this veil of avidya, that hridaya granthi that is binding the jiva to the jagat, we are unable to see that we are secure. We are unable to see that I am that Devadatta, I am that 10th man. So pramana, Shastra is a pramana saying, Array, you are the 10th man. So it is not an experience, it is a recognition. Experiences will come and go. Like this samadhi, nirvikalpa samadhi, that Swamiji talked of, I think in the chapter 12 or 6. He says, nirvikalpa samadhi, you're in such a blissful state. But then some disturbance happens, someone opens the door or rings the bell, that's out, that you're out of that experience. You're back to square one. So Atma, recognizing Atma is not an experience. This is something I think we all have to get this clarity about. Otherwise, the pramana will only be a mystical experience, which is what I think was talked of earlier in the first few lines.
Yeah, we will continue to make effort to become that, but we
because
are already be there. We are there only.
We are that. We only have to clean the
Yes.
mirror for us to see. And that cleaning is all of this. Ada, amanitvam, adambitvam, mahimsa, kshanti, rajyavam. That is why in chapter 13, it is said all these 13 different qualities are knowledge, because that is what will enable us to, um, eh, um, you know, be prepared, be qualified for that recognition of Atma. Which is why in the Uttama Adhikaris, that is, whose minds are so well prepared, just by listening to Shastra, just that Shabda Pramana is enough for them to recognize.
yeah.
But all the rest of us who are, like Madhyama Adhikaris, they were just Adhikaris. We will have to qualify ourselves for that knowledge. And that effort required, which Swamiji is being talking about, the yatna that is required is preparing our mind.
We all are eligible. We all are qualified. The only thing is just recognizing that.
That is what we are all adhikaris. We have to become Uttam Adhikari.
First,
Yeah.
Antarkaran Shuddhi, and
Yeah.
only then we can realize the Shabda Pramana. When it just heard, we can synthesize it and become that. And it is not a becoming, you are a being.
Otherwise, it will remain only as theory, as Swamiji so beautifully said. It remains only as a bookish knowledge. And we keep on visiting door to door for
And Maya is so powerful.
Yeah.
Maya is so powerful. It will make us feel as if we've reached there. Which is why in the Maya Panchakam, I think the last but one stanza says, though it covers it wails over even those people who've studied the Vedas and the Shastras. So it'll fool us. I mean, Maya is so powerful; it can just pull wool over our eyes, thinking, "Oh, we've, I've done this, I've done that." But yeah,
That ragadvesha will come up. It is giving me happiness or sukha. And then again we will caught up in that.
Hmm. Which is why in Sahaj also we say, don't get caught up with an experience. If you've had a very good meditation, for instance, it is the natural tendency to want that experience to repeat. We say be balanced about it. Drop that urge, that craving to have the same experience. You've had a good experience, good meditation, let it be. Continue your practice.
So, how important is that karma yoga and also the contemplating? Both.
Karma yoga is all of us out
Oh,
here who are
yes.
householders. There is
Yes.
no other thing than holding on to karma yoga.
Yes.
Otherwise, we're just fooling ourselves.
Yes.
We can be fooled completely thinking, oh, I'm so evolved. What evolution are you talking about? We are steeped in spiritual ahankara. Ahankara is there. Whereas there is sattvic ahankara will capture you and you'll continue to be under its clutches. So it's a matter of being aware of that, how we can get caught up in so many things. It's like that Sheshashai, Anantanag has 1,000 different heads. So anywhere that ego can come up and, surface up. So
Judging
being in
others
that
and
space of innocence, that is why Gurudev says, going back to that childlike innocence.
not
Using
judging.
viveka, using viveka, you have to have a sharp intellect, yet be soft, like like a child, and not have a hardened ego.
That is what from head to the heart. You have to transform from head to heart.
Right. Very right. Otherwise, see, all that we are learning now will only remain as concepts in our head. But that is not the purpose of the Shastra. The Shastra is there to reveal your true nature to you, to us. And when you rightly pointed out, Sureshji, it's the journey from the head to the heart, where we ultimately even that Shabda Pramana, like what we learned when you do Brahmabhyasa, take this thing of Tattvamasi or Aham Brahmasmi, and you're sitting at the seat of contemplation, even that drops off.
When you are in head, that always doubts will be there. That is what Swamiji had told in that one paragraph. When we when we use the intellect, always there will be doubt. Means there is a conflict. But when we come to heart, it dissolves there. It was I had earlier once in Toastmasters. I was preparing for that. For this head, the conflict of the head is just like a matchbox. You have the two heads there. So when we think with the head, always there will be conflict. There will be fire. So we have to go to the heart.
Yeah, very beautiful, Manana. Very nice. Shall I read further?
Yes, please continue.
This problem of not seeing the nature of Atma can either lead you to the conclusion that Atma is yet to be experienced, or that you should look into your qualifications. Since moksha is in the form of knowledge, there are definitely requirements for it. Fulfilling those requirements is the nature of the effort that is made here. The emphasis is on purity of mind, antakarana shuddhi, which is accomplished by a life of karma yoga and the cultivation of values. The most important thing here is inquiry. All false values and improper attitudes are due to a lack of understanding of certain relative truths. It is therefore important to continue to listen to the Shastra while living a life of Karma Yoga. Yogis who are referred to here then can be either those who are contemplating or those who are living a life of Karma Yoga. Whatever is required, Karma Yoga or a simple life of contemplation, they do that. They will certainly see. Sarvatmatva, Sarvatmatva of Ishvara. I hope I'm correct in my pronunciation. Sarvatmatva of Ishvara. Please correct me if it is wrong. The next
Sarvatma, Sarvatmatva.
Sarvatmatva. Sarvatmatva of Ishvara. The next four verses show that Atma is the self of all, Sarvatma, and the basis of all transactions. With these four verses, the vibhutis, glories of Bhagwan are briefly told. Yadadityagatam tejo jagadbhasayatekhilam yachandramasi yachagnav tattejo viddimamakam. Yat tejah, that brilliance which Aditya Gatam obtains in the sun, Akhilam Jagat, the entire world, Bhasayate, illumines, Yat Chandramasi, that which is in the moon, Yat Cha Agnav, and that which is in fire, Tat Tejaha, that brilliance, Mamakam, belongs to me, Vidhi, may you know. Yat Tejah Adityagatam Akhilam Jagat Bhasayate Yat Chandramasi Yat Cha Agnav Tat Tejah Mamakam Vidhi. May you know that the brilliance that obtains in the sun and illumines the entire world, that which is in the moon and which is in the fire, belongs to me. As the all-illumining light, the word Yat stands for that and Padam to be reached, which is Atma. Though it illumines everything, it cannot be illumined by Aditya, the sun, Agni, fire, etc. All these various sources of light do not illumine the one who illumines everything. Mamaka means that which belongs to me, and any glory anywhere is Bhagwan's glory. A few of them, the basics of our creation, are quickly and beautifully presented here. The brilliance, tejas, that is in the sun, which lights up the entire creation, Bhagavan says is mine. And also the brilliance in the moon, Yat Chandramasi, and fire, Agno, the brilliance of all these illuminaries, because of which we see all things, belongs to Bhagavan. This can be taken in a twofold way. The light that you see in the sun is the light of Parmeshwara, because the sun itself is Parmeshwara, as are the moon and fire. Each one, according to its upadhi, manifests the glory of Parmeshwara, that because of which the sun and fire emit heat and light, and the moon is cool and reflects light, is Bhagavan. These words Aditya, Chandramas, and Agni can also be taken to refer to the presiding deities of the sun, moon, and fire. The consciousness manifest in the deities called Aditya, Chandramas, and Agni, because of which each one is capable of its own unique function, is not separate from Bhagavan. Here, a question could be raised. If consciousness is all pervasive, then it expresses equally in every upadhi. Then why the special mention of Aditya, etc.? That is because they are luminous, endowed with brilliance, and are capable of illumining other objects with that brilliance. This is because they have sattvadikya, sattva adhikya, predominance of the sattva guna. They have more knowledge and happiness than human beings because of their high degree of sattva guna. In the deities of the sun, moon, and fire, the glory that we see is Bhagavan. So beautiful. I repeat this last paragraph. Why the sun, moon, and fire, as Nanaji calls them, Suhrun Mitra. They do not expect anything in return. I repeat this last paragraph. These words Aditya, Chandramas, and Agni can also be taken to refer to the presiding deities of the sun, moon, and fire. The consciousness manifest in the deities called Aditya, Chandramas, and Agni, because of which each one is capable of its own unique function, is not separate from Bhagavan. Here a question could be raised. If consciousness is all pervasive, then it expresses equally in every upadhi. Then why the special mention of Aditya, etc.? That is because they are luminous, endowed with brilliance, and are capable of illumining other objects with that brilliance. This is because they have sattvadikya, predominance of the sattva guna. They have more knowledge and happiness than human beings because of their high degree of sattva guna. In the deities of the sun, moon, and fire, the glory that we see is Bhagavan. Or you can go one step further and see Ishvara from the standpoint of these phenomena. His form is the sun, moon, fire, etc., and their brilliance. गामाविश्य च भूतानि धारयाम्यहमोजसा पुष्णामि चौषधि सर्वाः सोमो भूत्वा रसात्मकः च and Gama, the earth, Avishya, having entered Ojasa, with strength, bhutani, the beings, aham dharayami, I sustain, rasatmakah, that which is in the form of the essence, somah, the soma, bhutva, having become, sarvaha, all, aushadhihi, the vegetation, sorry, I think it is oshadhihi. Kindly correct my pronunciation if it is Aushadhi or Oshadhi. I think
Oshadi. Oshadi.
Oshadhi, the vegetation, Pushnami cha, and I nourish. Cha gama avishya ojasa bhutani aham dharyami rasatmakah somaha bhutva sarvaha oshadhihi pushnami cha. And having entered the earth, I sustain the beings with strength, and I nourish all the vegetation, having become soma in the form of their essence. As the sustaining energy, having entered the earth, Bhagavan sustains all the beings with his strength. As we saw before, this strength is free from binding desires. And with this strength, he does not overburden the earth, but nourishes it. The Veda says this is the one because of whom the heaven, the earth, and all the planets remain where they are. They remain firm because of the one who is the sustainer of the earth. I repeat this paragraph as the sustaining energy. Having entered the earth, Bhagavan sustains all the beings with his strength. As we saw before, this strength is free from binding desires. And with this strength, he does not overburden the earth, but nourishes it. The Veda says, this is the one because of whom the heaven, the earth, and all the planets remain where they are. They remain firm because of the one who is the sustainer of the earth. How does he sustain the beings? We see them gathering their own food and taking care of themselves. That they are able to obtain food is because of his power, and the nutrition in the food is him. Therefore, he says, I nourish, aham poshayami. How does he nourish? The Lord says, Somo Bhutva, having become Soma. The word Soma has different meanings. It refers to the juice or sap of anything, the value or essence, a particular plant, or the moon. All these are called the Soma. Here the meaning is clear because of the word Rasatmaka, in the form of essence that goes with it. Bhagwan makes all the fruits and vegetables nourishing and tasty. As Soma, he is the reservoir of all their essences. I repeat, it is such a beautiful paragraph. How does he sustain the beings? We see them gathering their own food and taking care of themselves. That they are able to obtain food is because of his power, and the nutrition in the food is him. Therefore, he says, I nourish, aham pushayami. How does he nourish? The Lord says, somo bhutva, having become soma. The word soma has different meanings. It refers to the juice or sap of anything, the value or essence, a particular plant, or the moon. All these are called the soma. Here, the meaning is clear because of the word rasatmaka, in the form of essence that goes with it. Bhagwan makes all the fruits and vegetables nourishing and tasty. As Soma, he is the reservoir of all their essences.
There is one sentence there. It doesn't bind, in the first paragraph of this.
Yeah.
You can go down, up. There you say. No, here. We saw before, this strength is free from binding desires.
Yeah.
So,
he's in.
If we eat all this, we will be in sattvic mode. It doesn't bind us by desires. Some foods are there which we will be having desires, more desires, like rajasic. So this vegetation, what he is calling, this vegetation nourishes us with the strength free from binding desires. Very, very important, And that soma, which gives the soma, rasa, otherwise it will become dry. All the vegetables which gives the rasa, the rasa. So that is sattvic. It will come in the next chapter, I think. This is.
But over here, Sureshji, he is all pervasive. He runs in and through creation.
That is there.
It is not like he's only there in the sattvic food. He is there. The sarvatmatva is there. He's only talking of his glory, like how his when the Aditya and Chandra and all manifest, it is most manifest in the sattvic aspects of creation, which is true. But he runs in and through. Creation is nothing but him, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not. We should not get the impression that he's there only in the sattvic.
No. He is true everywhere. But the relativity is relatively he is there in sattvic more, So the rajasic also is his creation. Tamasic also is creation. Everything. So Oshadaha, that is vegetation. Not Aushadaha. Aushada is medicine. Oshadaha is vegetation. So giving soma, having become soma in the form of, can you go down a little bit in that? Their essence. You see that? I sustain the beings with the strength and nourish all the vegetation, having become soma in the form of their essence. So there is a very nice this one here, which gives explanation for the vegetarian type.
Yeah, but then what's that? With this strength, he does not overburden the earth, but nourishes it.
Nourishes it.
Yeah.
And it is free from binding desires. That's the most important, for us, raga, dvesha, for that.
I could not understand that line. And having entered the earth, how he entered the earth, means I couldn't understand.
He is all pervaded, no? Enter means what? He is entering everywhere.
It is
in earth also, in everything, everywhere. In sun, moon, all those. And the sun, moon, and the fire is sattvic. Earth is tamasic. But in that also he is entering and giving vegetation for us.
Okay.
What did you say about overburdening the earth? I missed that part. It does not overburden the earth, but nourishes it. Can you explain it?
Yeah. Means earth is a tamasic, We think it is a burden type. But no, he doesn't burden it. he gives the strength there also. Because of that strength itself, it remains in that position. I think we read that, no? Earth remains in that position because of that all pervading strength.
Earth is tamasic, you said.
Jada vastu, no, that is.
Okay.
I'm not sure whether we can label that as tamasic. I'm not sure, but
No, because it is Jada, no? He is
Jada is
clearly,
there,
he
but
is
Element is
clearly
different.
says, it is all relative. It's not that we cannot say
correct.
it is all
So
relative.
maybe we can label it as
But
tamasic.
you also
We
have
cannot label it,
as
but we can say
right?
relatively. And he in the last chapter, last verse, he said, no, that Aditya, Chandra, and the fire, they are all higher level of sattvic. They illumine because of the higher level of the sattvikta in them. And in this, earth is a jada in that. Even in that, he pervades and nourishes us with vegetation, which gives strength to the humanity, the strength which is free from binding desires. That's most important. Therefore, this gives clue to us that vegetation, vegetarian is good for the sattvic. This one. I like that this strength is free from the binding desires. Because our desires only make us everything, raga dvesha. But he nourishes us with the vegetation such that it gives strength free from binding desires. Beautiful. And the heading is there, no, as the sustaining energy.
Hari Om, should we stop here for Manana? I will just quickly read the 2 shlokas we did, and then we can all put our inputs. Very beautifully explained, Suresh.
At
Bela,
one
can you just
sentence.
read this one shloka one more time? The
Yeah,
meaning.
with binding and unbinding, little bit we need to contemplate on, because it's actually
Yes.
very beautiful. The food, the
Yeah.
kind of food which
And
becomes a addiction, and this is something very valuable for all the sadhaks if we can really understand the meaning of binding and unbinding. Please read it again. Thank you.
yeah. Yeah.
This
I will
this
just
verse became clear only for me with that one sentence. I was
You
reading
didn't
so many.
complete the 13th thing, right? The vision being portrayed here. Did you finish that one? There's
Yeah.
only one more paragraph.
Yeah, I will just read the quickly browse through the shloka.
One sentence there, that the earth, heaven, and all planets are in their position because of this energy. But what about the sun, moon, and fire? They are on their own. So that little, um, because sun and moon are considered as planet also, no?
No, because of the predominance of sattva guna. So sattva makes us urdhva mula sattva, it gives rise to the upward energy. Sattva. We have seen, no? Sattva. in I think 14th chapter.
May I read the verse?
Yes,
Uh,
please. Yes.
yeah. गामाविश्य च भूतानि धारयाम्यहमोजसा पुष्णामि चौषधि सर्वाः सोमो भूत्वा रसात्मकः. And having entered the earth, I sustain the beings with strength, and I nourish all the vegetation, having become soma in the form of their essence. You want me to read the paragraph?
This soma is very, very important, you know. This soma is the rasa, what we eat. So in later on, I think in the next chapter, 16th chapter, he gives the definitions of sattvic food and rajasic food and all that. In the sattvic food, he says that rasa, and that is what this soma is. So if we are very much eating dry, dry this one, that is not sattvic. So sattvic food needs that rasa, that soma, very beautifully given. Having become soma in the form of their essence. And that soma he defines here, juice. It refers to the juice or a sap of anything, you know. So that's a really wonderful,
Yes,
really wonderful.
yes, it is
I had not
important. See, the rays of the moon, no, in the night, under these rays are only the one who nourishes all the plants and
vegetation, yes.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
and that is the essence, the nutrition which sustains the all human beings and animals and every. Yeah, it is the truth actually. Pushnami, that the portion happens due to the Chandrama's rays. Even when we leave the body, the soul travels to Chandrama and it comes through the rays and then catches in the vegetation in the form of rice and all these things, and then it again the cycle repeats of birth, the whole cycle. So it is very important. We need to go in depth into all these
Yeah.
understandings.
No, really, I had not understood this verse so beautifully. Today I understood it very nicely because of the Swami's explanation. Otherwise, just they say it's just superficial, We were going through the very nicely explained by the Soma Bhutva. How does he nourish? The Lord says, Somo Bhutva, having become Soma. The word Soma has different meanings. It means even the Chandra also. And Chandra is Sattvic. Beautiful. Really beautiful.
Hari Om. It is very, very beautifully explained. Here, because I have experienced the natural diet system, those who are eating only fruits and vegetables, it is so very evident now that it is supported by Bhagavan, where it is said that it doesn't bind you. When we are eating cooked food, we get that craving to eat more and more. But when we follow the natural diet system, that craving for the cooked food vanishes. It was really surprising for me when I was following that NDS, and it is really nice. And there that they tell this shloka particularly, the 13th shloka, and then it is so very beautifully confirmed by Bhagwan also, that it really make you free from binding desires of eating more and more. And another meaning, as in the previous chapters also, Swamiji had explained that Lord is in and through creation, but he doesn't depend on anyone for his existence. Dhanyavad.
This is so important, Belaji. Very, very essential things which you are sharing. Because as sadhaks, if we want to go further on this path, these things will help us to take the leap, actually. Thank you so much.
We have to be in sattvic mode. And this explains very nice vegetation.
I think sun and moon has okay, but Agni is a pavaka. Nothing impure remains in that. So that must be the reason it is saying sun, moon,
Sattvic,
and
yes. It burns everything, you know. It becomes pure. When you heat it, it becomes pure. Beautiful.
Sumaji or Brahmaraji, could you please take over the session? Dhanyavad.
Jai Gurudev, I think Suma is not there. We'll play the Maya Panchakam and Brahmajnana Vali Mala.
Are you comfortable, Brahmaraji, or I play?
If you're able to, you can play Bella.
Okay. Okay.
We'll do the Shanti part and then you can play.
Okay. Anyone would like to share? Because it is very, very beautiful knowledge. We can just repeat from here, from the same verse tomorrow. It is very profound verse.
Both the words, very, very good. Both sun, moon, very nice.
Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kashit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Just give me 2 minutes. I'll share the Maya picture.
Bela, there is no sound. Maybe you have to share this sound.
Oh, there is no sound.
Yeah, there's no sound.
Oh, how come? I thought that it is playing.
You must optimize the video.
Okay.
Then it will happen.
The screen was seen.
Yeah, a screen was seen, but there's no sound.
Oh, I will once again try. Really sorry. Mm. The sound is maximum. I will once again start.
No, you should share that there is one option of optimized video for.
Where is that option? In the setting?
When you share it itself, there is one more. You could. I don't know how it is in the iPhone.
No. It is already shared, but the volume is not there. That's what they are saying. The volume is maximum.
Go to the audio and share with the computer.
I am sharing with the computer only. Playback quality. I can increase the playback. No, it is speed. It is speed. Quality also. Here I increase. Auto is there, no? Still you. Can you hear?
No, we're not hearing. There is a play button next to that. Maybe you should play that one. No, not that one. Yeah, that one. Let's try that one.
But that is no, that is Lalita Sahasranam. It started.
Oh,
Let me check whether I can share from my phone.
Just a minute.
निरुपमनित्यनिरंश नित्यनिरंशकेऽप्यखण्डे निरुपम नित्यनिरंशकेऽप्यखण्डे मयि चिति सर्वविकल्पनादिशून्ये घटयति जगदीश जीवभेदम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया श्रुतिशतनिगमान्तशोधकानपि अहह धनादिनिदर्शनेन सद्यः कलुषयति चतुष्पदाद्यभिन्ना न घटितघटना पडीयसी माया सुखचिदखण्डविबोधमद्वितीयम् वियदनलादिविनिर्मित्ते नियोज्य भ्रमयति भवसागरे नितान्तम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया अपगतगुणवर्णजातिभेदे सुखचितिविप्रविडार्यहङ्कृतिं च स्फुटयति सुतदारकेहमोहम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया विधिहरिहरविभेदमप्यखण्डे बत विरचय्य बुधानपि प्रकामम् भ्रमयति हरिहरविभेदभावान् घटितघटना पडीयसी माया त्वघटितघटना पडीयसी माया
Were you able to listen to this?
Yes,
Yeah, very
Mataji,
nicely.
very well.
Nice.
Okay, I'll play the Brahmajnana Valimala as well. Huh? Just give me a second.
असङ्गोऽहम् 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 पुनः पुनः सच्चिदानन्दरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः नित्यशुद्धविमुक्तोऽहम् निराकारोऽहमव्ययः भूमानन्दस्वरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः नित्योऽहम् निरवद्योऽहम् निराकारोऽहमच्युतः परमानन्दरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः शुद्धचैतन्यरूपोऽहम् आत्मा रामोऽहमेव च अखण्डानन्दरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः प्रत्यक्षचैतन्यरूपोऽहम् शान्तोऽहम् प्रकृतेः परः शाश्वतानन्दरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः तत्त्वातीतपरात्माहम् मध्यातीतः परशिवः मायातीतपरञ्ज्योतिः अहमेवाहमव्ययः नानारूपव्यतीतोऽहम् चिदाकारोऽहमच्युतः सुखरूपस्वरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः माया तत्कार्यदेहादि मम नास्त्येव सर्वदा स्वप्रकाशैकरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः गुणत्रयव्यतीतोऽहम् ब्रह्मादीनां च साक्ष्यहम् अनन्तानन्दरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः अन्तर्ज्योतिस्वरूपोऽहम् कूटस्थः सर्वगोऽस्म्यहम् सर्वसाक्षिस्वरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः द्वन्द्वादिसाक्षिरूपोऽहम् अचलोऽहं सनातनः सर्वसाक्षिस्वरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः प्रज्ञानघन एवाहम् विज्ञानघन एव च अकर्ताहम् अभोक्ताहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः निराधारस्वरूपोऽहम् सर्वाधारोऽहमेव च आप्तकामस्वरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः देहविमुक्तः देहत्रयविलक्षणः अवस्थात्रयसाक्ष्यस्मि अहमेवाहमव्ययः दृग्दृश्यौ द्वौ पदार्थौ स्तः परस्परविलक्षणौ दृग्ब्रह्मदृश्यं मायेति सर्ववेदान्तडिण्डिमः अहं साक्षीति यो विद्यात् विविच्यैवं पुनः पुनः स एव मुक्तः स विद्वान् इति वेदान्तडिण्डिमः घटकुड्यादिकं सर्वं मृत्तिकामात्रमेव च तद्वद्ब्रह्म जगत्सर्वम् इति वेदान्तडिण्डिमः ब्रह्म सत्यं जगन्मिथ्या जीवो ब्रह्मैव नापरः अनेन वेद्यं सच्छास्त्रम् इति वेदान्तडिण्डिमः अन्तर्ज्योति बहिर्ज्योतिः प्रत्यग्ज्योतिः परात्परः ज्योतिज्योति स्वयं ज्योतिः आत्मज्योतिशिवोऽस्म्यहम् ज्योतिज्योति स्वयं ज्योतिः आत्मज्योतिशिवोऽस्म्यहम्